midway through the 8 o'clock hour on a Monday, which means Josh Klingler is with us. He's sideline reporter for the Chiefs Radio Network. Kling, fourth down call. That's the game, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it right in the moment, but I think you also could have made the case for sure the way the defense was playing to push them back and punt it in that situation. But I get it. They usually are, trying to be aggressive, and that offense wants to be aggressive, and they have confidence that they can get it done. But you have Kareem Hunt, and he's been automatic on short yardage plays, and I don't care if you've called it a few other times. And why you're throwing the football there was the one that was baffling to me. Again, hindsight being 2020, maybe you punt it because your defense is just dialing it up at that point in time. But I think they had confidence as well that the defense could put out a fire. But I had to run the football there 100% of the time. I'm always the run the football guy, but you have Kareem Hunt, and the stats would back you up that says he's been really, really good in short yardage. And so why you got the ball in the air, I don't know. The second one, obviously you had to go for. Mm-hmm. And then that one's baffling because Rashee Rice looks like he's trying to run after the catch, and you just got to make the catch. It's a first down and get the chains moving. You don't have to get anything more than a first down in that situation. So not securing the football on that one is also pretty maddening.
Well, and really the fourth down too, Josh, piggybacking on hunting it last week when they should have gone for it. It was almost like, Andy was trying to, as we used to talk about, chase points. You go for two and then you miss, and now you're chasing points. It felt like last week he was supposed to go for it and punted, and everybody's for 10 days told him what a terrible decision that was. And then the first time he had a chance to make a decision, he goes, fine, we're going for it in this situation, not having a feel of the game. And that's really concerning to me. Andy did not have a feel for the game at that moment in time.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I never thought of, the back-to-back of, last week. But that does, I think human nature would tell you that probably does factor in. Like, if you're second guessing, last week, you're gonna make sure, hey, if we get in a situation like that again, let's think about being aggressive. But I felt at that moment they were trying to get some juice for the offense, which I don't disagree with. I just didn't like the play call, and I didn't like soon as you put 29 in motion, right? Everybody knows you're going to pass. Mm-hmm. And so at least if you left him in the backfield alongside Patrick Mahomes, you give the illusion you're going to run it, right? Even if you didn't, would be better than putting him out in the pattern and pretty much telling everybody you're not going to run the football in that situation. So I feel like they gave it away as much as, not running the football. They also gave away with not having him in the backfield in that moment. So, and at times, I know Daniel Hughes has talked about this quite a bit, and he'll probably talk about this with you guys again tomorrow. The predictability of the offense this year. I mean, I think he's felt like they've given away too much in their looks that shows what they're going to do, and teams have really scouted them well and caught on. And so when they're showing different things, you've seen defenses creep up, and when they've taken guys, especially out of the backfield, they've backed off, realizing it's going to be 100% pass. And so the predictability of the offense has been something I think in the offseason they're probably going to have to clean up.
Kling, you're on that sideline. What was the demeanor like once Kelsey drops that pass and it's picked off at the end of the game?
The locker room was really quiet afterwards, and there's a lot of guys kind of sitting and staring. And, I think the reality I thought set in last week on the Thursday game where they realized, holy crap, we put ourselves in this position. And then I think it was kind of stunned disbelief in this one. The sideline was great throughout because the defense was just so hot in the second half that, you felt like that they were really picking up off Chris Jones's energy and play. And then the balloon just went, and you felt it. I know they're saying the right things. They have to. There's still a chance. They're not eliminated, but boy, it just gets harder and harder by the week. And to look at the scenarios now is not a fun exercise. I know you guys have probably done it too, where it's just like, there's just almost too much that needs to happen. You need the your direct opponent to lose them all basically, and you need to win them all. And that's not a spot this team, this franchise has been in the last several years. So this is weird.
No, it's over. I mean, I'll declare it over, and if they find a way to get in like they did in '06 or something like that, then here we can sit. But I just don't think we can sit here right now and say, oh, well, we're still playing for the postseason. I know they have to act that way. But for me, Josh, it's just like, I mean, we've had drops by the wide receiver. We've had bad decisions by the head coach. The quarterback has made his decisions. The all-world tight end has either been hot as bacon grease or as cold as the, last week's snow. The defense, looks a day late and a dollar short right now. Like when you're hitting the reset button this offseason, there's a lot to be discussed about the future of this organization.
And then for whatever reason, maybe they used them all up in the last, 5 years. They don't get one bounce.
No.
They don't get one play that is made that can turn the tide in a game. Whatever ball, does go off somebody's fingertips, lands in somebody's lap, where the Chiefs seemingly can't buy one of those. This seems like the luck and the breaks also disappeared for some reason. And I don't know if that, again, what goes around comes around. As many breaks as they got last year, they're not getting this year, but it's been amazing to see them not be able to get something that seems to be like an absolute turner in a game. I mean, that game yesterday, I'm not overly impressed with the Texans, and I haven't been overly impressed with most of the teams that have beaten the Chiefs. It's just, they didn't, the Chiefs didn't win. I don't think that defense is good. Okay. But the Chiefs moved the football and they turned it over. You don't do those things. You don't turn the football over and you're in the game. Mm-hmm. So it's just those little things that whatever intangibles that they've had over the last few years apparently have been zapped up because they cannot get a break. And I know no one outside of Kansas City is feeling sorry for them, but it is amazing to see that not a bounce of the football seemingly goes their way at all this year, that every mistake has been magnified and has been paid back.
Yet it seems conversations we've had with people on the air, the text line, all that, tear it down, rebuild it. I think that starts with three big players on this team that are leaders and captains in McDuffie, Chris Jones, and Travis Kelce. What would you say as to all three of those guys are back next year?
What do I say if all three are back?
Yeah.
They've worked magic with the cap, probably. I mean, that feels like the first thing. Although I don't know what magic with the cap is. This team was still really talented. I don't think they're that far away. I mean, injuries along the offensive line really crushing here late, but you may have discovered one last night. I know that they liked Pole in the preseason, and I was a little surprised that they didn't keep him on the roster, because it seemed like it was a guy they were kind of telling everybody about, like, ooh, check out this kid over here. He's really raw, but he's kind of got some things. And they were really lucky to get him back to be there. But he was kind of thought of, maybe you found a gem at a tackle spot that you could use in the future. So he gets to play last night, and I thought did a heck of a job. Obviously, Simmons coming back from injury, you've got options at tackle next year, which is good. The interior offensive line you still have around. There's going to be a question, obviously, about McDuffie, and if you're looking to maybe clear some space and maybe acquire some draft picks, I think Duffy's probably your biggest way to do that. Mm-hmm. I guess you could make a case for Chris Jones as well. And then again, I think you guys asked me about Kelce last week, and I just think the door is open. Like, he's just do what you're gonna do, and we're gonna figure it out. I don't think that you're gonna, have any say or want to have any say in pushing him out the door if he's going to come back. He was still your leading receiver. I know he's had a big drop last night that everybody's lamenting, but he's still your number one target for a good portion of the season. It looks like a guy that can still play. So I don't think they're going to turn away him by any means, but everything's probably on the table, and you're going to have to hit in a limited number of draft picks next year, and then get guys back from injury that hopefully can play a part in getting back.
Well, and that's the thing too, Josh, is that they have limited draft picks and whatnot. And you know how I feel about free agency, but this may be a year where you have to delve into the free agent market and find somebody that's fresh, find somebody that's a little bit younger than what you have at certain positions. Trades are going to be huge. I think Trent McDuffie right now, his greatest value to this organization is what he can get in return for being traded. We saw yesterday he went out and Noah Williams played just fine, right? It's always next man up, it seems like, in that defensive backfield. And the last 8 quarters for Trent McDuffie has shown, whoa, thank goodness we haven't signed him to a long-term deal already. As good as he is, I think he can be more valuable to rebuilding this organization by getting, draft picks back in return, just like you did for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really good. I think the last game against the Cowboys was probably his worst. Great locker room guy, great leader, but you have developed that position. And it's also, do you want to pay $20 million for a quarter? You might not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that could be something that they would consider. And what's the return going to be? I mean, I look at the Sauce Gardner trade, right?
Yep.
Not bad. You're thinking, okay, those are things that can pay off for you if you decide to do it in the off season, especially. Maybe you command a little bit more even in a trade for something like that. So I think everything will be on the table. We know Brett Veach likes to get after some things. I think this year was probably their most stand pat year in terms of re-signing your own, bringing back familiar faces. Maybe they look to shake it up a little bit more next year.
Yeah, when you say shake it up, how many coaches return or how many coaches leave this roster next year?
Hard to tell. Andy Reid's a loyal guy. I think that the loyalty is not just to the players, but it's very much to the coaching staff. And I don't know how that would fix anything magically. I think offensively the buck stops with him, and so anything that happens, I do think is Andy Reid. And so does he have to be the one that says I'm going to do this or that? I think probably so. I don't think. I think he's got voices, he's got people helping, but the buck stops with him offensively, and so I think he does take responsibility for that, and I think rightfully so. So we'll see.
Does Andy Reid need to have a conversation with Clark this offseason, and Clark needs to say, hey, we need to change some things up a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we're overreacting. We shouldn't be. I get it. They're not in a position we all thought they would be in a very talented team, and you shouldn't miss the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes. So if that's your bar, then I think everything should be on the table, because I think you should. If Patrick Mahomes is healthy all year, you should not be a team that is looking on the outside of a playoff position.
Well, Kling, we appreciate it. Get some rest. I'm sure you thawed out at this point since you were the only guy down there on the field, everybody else in a booth with warmth. So we'll talk to you next Monday and see where this team is at in a week from now.
All right. Sounds good, guys.